Hey, this is Draco Darkrider. After playing a bit of Pokemon Violet for quite a while now, I've been kind of disappointed in a few things. Don't get me wrong, I know the game's full of bugs, and that's not what this point of this video will be about. I won't be discussing the glitches or anything like that. I won't be discussing the major issues when it comes to shinies, but there are some things that I've noticed that honestly were really good opportunities, or just stuff that's not in the games that I honestly believe should be. So I decided to just pick the top 5 things that I feel like are missed opportunities for the game and put them in a video and see if anyone agrees with me that these would have been good ideas, or if, I don't know, some of you share my opinions or some of you have your own opinions. Now, before I do get started though, I will make 2 quick special mentions. The fact that, I'll get out of the way. It's kind of stupid that yet again we don't get another Eevee evolution, because for the Pokemon that's bragged about being the most versatile Pokemon, because it can become any type, still does not have majority of the types. And the fact that the last one that was introduced was the newest type introduced, while there was still a backlog of Eevee types that we still wanted. Like, people still want a poison, a ghost, or hell, people have been begging for a fucking dragon type. But I won't get into that because that's not the point here. The other special mention I will make is the Tauros evolution that everyone wanted, but of course we didn't get, which is like a Minotaur version of Tauros. It's still to this day a great idea. I wish they had gone with it. I do like the new Paldean type Tauros and its 2 kind of alternate forms, even though that's still a little bit lazy. But honestly, I wish they had have done like a Tauros, kind of like at least one of them be a Minotaur, because that would have just been amazing. But anyway, going on to the video and starting with number 5, which for me is the grass and water starters. Now, you will notice that I didn't mention the fire, and honestly that's because while yes, I don't care too much that it's not in the Chinese Zodiacs, the part of me had wished that it did turn into the flying serpent in its last evolution, so that way it fit onto the Zodiac. Honestly, I like Skeledirge. I like Fuecoco's entire line. I think he goes from adorably derpy to just awkward teen phase that's still kind of adorable, to badass giant crocodile with little adorable flaming bird. Honestly, I love Skeledirge. However, the grass and water starters, I feel like that they're disappointing in a various amount of reasons. The grass starter, I like Fuecoco, it's adorable. I think Florigato is okay. It's just, I feel like it shouldn't have stand on 2 legs, but it's still tolerable. Masquerade, I don't like it at all, but that's also because, well, we could have had this awesome rose tiger type thing. It could have stayed on all 4 legs, been like this rose and thorn tiger. It would have looked amazing. But of course it just became extremely humanoid, and I don't like it at all. But hey, I will just leave that at that. But then you got the water starter, which I believed is a massive missed opportunity, because it started off as a water duck with a hat, and yes, that's adorable. But when you think about it, that could have been a great opportunity for something like a pirate captain. You could still have the dancing theme. There is multitudes of media of dancing pirates singing a shanty. Look at Sea of Thieves and quite a few other games. Any game that has pirates, 9 times out of 10, have something added that lets them sing and dance on the ship as a sea shanty. So the fact that you do not have, it doesn't even have to be a pirate captain, but the fact that there is no ship captain bearing the final version for the water starter is kind of a disappointment. Don't get me wrong, I understand and like the peacock. The peacock's actually quite interesting, and I'm glad we finally have one. And don't get me wrong, the water starter's okay. From start to finish, I don't mind it. I think the second phase is still a bit goofy, but I like the first and last version. But in saying that though, I can't grow attached to the water starter's final evolution. solely for the fact that, yeah, it's always fidgeting while it's dancing, but like I see what it could have been, and it kind of disappoints me the fact of like how we could have, like, it could have even stayed a peacock and still been like a pirate captain, but instead we just got just dancing peacock, which I'm like, yeah, it's okay, it's something new at least. But anyway, like, I'm not going to go into too much detail on those ones because otherwise I just get to rambling. So honestly, that's my opinions on them, and I'll move on to point number 4. Character customization and the photo mode. I feel like it is heavily disappointing. We are coming off the games like Legends Arceus, X and Y started it, but Legends Arceus, I believe there was a little bit in Sun and Moon, X and Y did it heavily, and Sword and Shield was massive about it. You could change your clothes, hairstyle and that to an amazing degree. And for the previous couple of games, they were improving on that a lot. However, there's a final step that they still haven't taken. Now, don't get me wrong, part of my issue, my personal issue, is the fact that I wish there was more clothing options other than the 4 uniforms. Like, don't get me wrong, you're going to school, I understand, you have to wear it. However, I believe that if you are going to make a game like this, make it so that you have to wear the uniform when attending school, but when you're out in the wild, you should be able to wear what you want. You can wear bike helmets, for God's sakes, and Daft Punk helmets, and wear everything in terms of socks, shoes, bags, headpieces. It's like there is so much you can wear, but you still have to wear the just same one of 4 uniforms, and honestly, they all kind of suck. But like, I wish there was more variety with that. And when it came to the hairstyles, I believe the males got heavily gypped compared to the females, because in all honesty, not everyone wants to look like the hip young teens of today. Like, I don't like racetracks or dreadlocks or anything like. I don't like the fact of having the backs and sides of my head shaved. However, when it comes to remotely hair that like isn't crazy styled, you either have the one really messy one down the bottom of the hairstyle right next to the bob haircut, which looks ugly as fuck, again next to their bob style, which is ugly as fuck, or you have the girls' hairstyles, which, don't get me wrong, some guys want to do, and I have no judgment of that, but like, where's just casual short spiky hair that doesn't look messy as shit? Where's some of the hairstyles that we had in previous games? Like, hell, in Legends Arceus, I may have not liked a lot of the hairstyles, but that was because like they were themed. There was still like 1 or 2 of the male hairstyles there that I liked, and when it came to the slick back, I didn't like the fact that it showed just a gigantic forehead for your character, which, mind you, didn't help that the hats made it look even worse, as well as the fact that there's a giant rim around the hat, so, well, it didn't even look like the hats fit. But at least that's for my clothing part. My issue with the photo mode is the fact that, like many people, you can't move while using it. If you try to take a photo, you are basically as if you're glued to the floor. All you can do is rotate. This doesn't work as a system. I know, for example, because as you'll probably see now, literally all I was trying to do was take a photo of my shiny Ceruledge for the trainer icon, since I found out you could do that. Do you know how hard it is to take a photo of that thing when it's running 1,000,000 miles an hour circling you, and you can't move other than to turn and rotate your camera? Even more so when it stops and walks towards you, standing exactly where you are, so it can't be in camera view. So you have to walk out, try to get into the camera view, try to focus again before it moves again. It's impossible. Like, I don't know if my Ceruledge is the only one that does it, but that thing acted like it was on crack. And honestly, trying to take a photo of that was a pain in the ass. But, like, I really wish they had tried more with that. Or hell, apparently when it comes to, like, multiplayer, like, I won't get into the glitches again and everything, but apparently multiplayer, I've had multiple friends say that they can't take photos with their friends because their friends just don't show up in the camera. Which is so stupid. But that's pretty much what I wanted to say about them, because honestly, I don't want to get too much into glitches because I think everyone's covered them to death, and frankly, it's Pokemon are trying at least. They fight. This is their first time trying a full-on open world multiplayer, so I'll give them the break. So then it moves on to my third point, and honestly, this is the last three are Pokemon that should be in the fucking game but are not, and I have no idea why. For starters, we have to point 3. The Porygon line. Why is this non-violet? Like, honestly, you have Scarlet and Violet who are basically, their entire style scream that they're past and future. Okay, sure. So you have Pokemon in one game, like Mischievous and Jigglypuff, and Amoonguss especially, who have a prehistoric or ancient version. Makes sense. Understandable. Glad they did that. Yet, Pokemon never once thought that, you have the legitimate man-made Pokemon outside of Mewtwo. The non-legendary man-made Pokemon that is perfect to be made into a robot type thing, and it's not in fucking Violet? How? How the hell is this thing in any of its forms not in Violet? Porygon is an amazing Pokemon. I have always loved it. Same with my friend Jade. And, it wouldn't have been anything game-breaking to add it. Porygon Z may be powerful, but it's still a glass cannon. It's anything powerful enough to flick it the wrong way and it dies. But, my god, how the hell is there not some type of robot Porygon, or robot Porygon Z in Violet? That was literally screaming to be there. I could have even gone as far as to say something like, why is there no prehistoric version of Gensect in Scarlet? But I'm not going to add that because that's technically a legendary, so it's kind of a weird area, and at the same time it's also very tied to Black and White, which we might get a sequel to or remake in the future, so I can understand that one. But the Porygon line, come on! First you fuck up with giving it its anime debut, then you double down saying, oh, we can't blame Pikachu even though it was his fault for that episode, giving all the kids seizures, so you know what? Here, we'll blame it all on Porygon, and to this day, Porygon has not ever had another episode in any of its forms, in any parts of the anime, which is a crime against all of humanity. But this Pokemon is perfect for for Violet, so why is there no robot version? Game Freak, get your fucking act together. Now, on that note, which will move to my second point here. Point number 2 is that there is no fossil Pokemon. I understand not sometimes that you don't have ideas for what you could do when it came to new fossil Pokemon. However, does Game Freak realize the internet exists? You just type in fake Pokemon fossils or just Pokemon fossil Pokemon fan made into any Google search, and I think that they would have their ideas for them. There are several million different Pokemon designed by fans as fossil Pokemon people will want. From, I know we have a T-Rex now, but there's stuff like the Triceratops, the Stegosaurus, and yes, I know Bastiodon exists, but I class that more as a Protoceratops because it doesn't have horns. But, you've got the Stegosaurus, which is a fan freaking favorite. You have things like the Mosasaur, something that swims in the sea. You've got mammoths, for God's sakes. And yes, mammoth swine exists, but like, fuck it. Like, I'm talking about like an actual mammoth with a trunk. But like, there is like so many prehistoric. You've got like a proper raptor type dinosaur, not that shit that we got in Sword and Shield. You've got so many different ideas for a fossil Pokemon. Or hell, you could introduce the old ones. Bring some back. Because, again, I'm not saying that this is for Scarlet. This time, for Violet, sorry. This time it's for Scarlet. Because while Porygon was perfect for Violet's entire scheme, how the hell did the game based on the prehistoric not have any of the prehistoric Pokemon? Like, the fuck, Pokemon? What you doing? Hell, even if you don't add all the fossils, pick a fossil and make a Paradox version. You gave a fucking Mega Evolution to Aerodactyl, just pick a fucking fossil or two and make an ancient version. Make a Paradox version. It's like, it's that fucking easy. Honestly, how the hell they didn't think of that boggles my mind. Just because it's like, there are so many cool ideas they could do with that. Whether they just do one or two, they do a line, I don't care. It would have been perfect. It's basically the same mistake they made several games ago, but they didn't learn. Because for those that don't know, Pokemon introduced these two new games called Sun and Moon, which did not have the legitimate previous Sun-based and Moon-based Pokemon Lunatone and Solrock. At all. Which is stupidic on so many levels that they weren't in the game. But it's like, and it was even more stupidic that they added like this Star Meteor Pokemon and yet it wasn't even related to them. But still, it's like, they're doing that exact same mistake a couple generations later, and I'm like, how are you both learning from your mistakes and not learning from your mistakes at the same time? That's simultaneously being intelligent and stupid. It's a very hard gift, and I award you for that, but my fucking god. But that is nowhere near a crime as the number one spot here. The number one biggest missed opportunity for this game, and honestly, I was cracking jokes about this before the game came out. As if, like, if it was in the game, I'd make jokes about it, but it's not even in the game. And that is Onix. The reason why? The Crystal Onix. How in the hell did they not add Onix in a game where you turn your Pokemon fucking crystallized? Because let's face it, what's Pokemon most known for? Giving us half-assed examples of what they think we want, not what we want. They try a lot sometimes, but there are plenty of times where they don't. Like, for instance, Sword and Shield gave us open world for the first time, great animation in majority of the game, outside of battling and major important cutscenes. But here's my problem, it's just like, in Sword and Shield, you had issues like how they couldn't get attack animations, or, they couldn't have a dog turn around and walk at the same time. They had to put on like a weird turntable. It was so fucking weird. But it's like, they gave us what we think we wanted, not what we actually wanted. And then here comes Scarlet and Violet. You have a game where one of the main mechanics, or if not the main mechanic, is terastallizing. You use a special ability with your special terastallizing orb, throw it out, your Pokemon turns crystal with a fucked up headpiece, and voila, it's now a different type. And since Generation 2 of the anime, like Season 2 of the anime, when he went to the Orange Islands, Ash came across a Crystal Onix. We still don't know what its type was in the anime, we just know it was special. It was only one of it in the anime, because it never was seen again. And, well, that's it. Like, how the hell was this not introduced in a fucking game where its kind of gimmick is the gimmick? Like, I made jokes saying that if Onix was in the game like this, but we just still didn't get like a regional form Crystal Onix, it would be just like, hey, it's like, I can't believe it's not Crystal Onix. It's like what you think, it's like what we think you wanted, but it's not. And then I found out, wait, it's not even in the game. What the fuck? Like, are you kidding? How the hell, like, is Onyx so great game breaking that it's not in the game? It just infuriates. There are other Pokemon in the game that evolve via the Metal Coat, and they're from the same generation. Like Scyther and its evolution came from the same evolution, same generations as Onyx and Steelix, same generations. But the fact that Onyx didn't get introduced into the one generation where its entire thing that people have been begging for years, and it doesn't get introduced, like, Game Freak, this is legitimately a way you could have pleased, or at least half pleased, half the fan base at minimum. Do you know how many people would have been going batshit over a Crystal Onyx in this game? You would have seen memes and forums and everything everywhere of the internet. People would have been like, don't get me wrong, half the people would have been livid, but half the people would have been over the goddamn moon. And yet, you did nothing. Not the fact that, like, you added Onyx but you didn't do much with it except for giving it the Terastallize. You didn't even add it to the game. One of the biggest and probably most obvious, because let's face it, just like the Dunsparce wanting an evolution, this thing has been begging for something to happen to it for just as long, if not longer, than Dunsparce. And, like, everyone has been begging and dying for a regional variant or alternate form or whatever of Onyx being the Crystal Onyx. And yet you just did nothing. You didn't give us a regional form of a Crystal Onyx. You didn't give us Onyx that could terastallize and look all crystally. You didn't even try with that. And it would have been no change whatsoever to the game. Like, you've already got, from previous anime, like games like Legends Arceus and stuff like that, you've had Onyx too, you've got the animations for it. And literally all you'd have to do is add the same mechanics as you've been using for this game onto it. Like, it's so stupid that you don't have it. But honestly, that's all I can say about it, because it baffles me that that's not in the game, and I needed to just vent that out. So, hope you guys have enjoyed my rambling. If you did watch all the way through to the end of this video, I do thank you very much. Consider liking and subscribing if our videos interest you. Leave a comment down below to let me know what missed opportunities you guys think that they missed out on, because I'm curious to know your guys' opinions as well. If you agree with my opinions, feel free to let me know. If you disagree, that's fine, because everyone has value to their opinions. This is just my opinions on stuff that I heavily believe they should have added. But for now, I hope you guys have all enjoyed the video. Leave a like, leave a subscribe, check out videos, and we shall see you in the next video. Thank you and goodbye.